Sudden terrifying tornado strikes Jiangsu, resulting in multiple deaths and injuries. The rhythm of worker rebellion? A campaign of real name support for 8-hour working system was launched on TikTok. Startling forced demolition in Beijing, Stephen Chow's voice actor confronted by dozens of men in late-night eviction. Financial crisis hits multiple regions in China, public transit companies suspended successively. Turbulent political landscape in Zhongnanhai, analysis identifies 3 big threats for Xi Jinping. CCP deploys 100 military aircraft to disrupt Taiwan, analysis, the action reflects instability on the part of Xi Jinping. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Sudden terrifying tornado strikes Jiangsu, resulting in multiple deaths and injuries. Around 5:20 p.m. on the 19th, a terrifying sudden tornado struck the South Kai Township within the Sichuan Economic and Technological Development Zone. In the video, you can see a black tornado sweeping over the rooftops of residential buildings. A daring videographer in Sichuan captured the tornado from a very close distance as it roared past in front of a street shop. Some videos show that after the tornado passed, south the street in Kai Township was in chaos, with roofs overturned, and some people were lying on the ground with their conditions unknown. A resident named Ms. Zhao mentioned that there were people injured at the scene, and many ambulances arrived. Sparks were seen in various places. It's reported that the tornado knocked down 10 kV power cables, causing a widespread power outage in Sichuan. According to the authorities in the Sichuan Economic and Technological Development Zone, the tornado resulted in 1 fatality, 3 injuries, and various degrees of damage to 52 houses. Experts categorize the tornado as an EF2 level event, which means that this category of tornado could produce winds from 111 to 135 miles per hour, causing considerable damage. The rhythm of worker rebellion? A campaign of real name support for 8-hour working system was launched on TikTok. The current harsh and prolonged working hours have led to resistance from many Chinese workers. Recently, a campaign called Real Name Support for the 8-hour working system was launched on TikTok, a short video platform in mainland China. Many workers, while holding their ID cards, publicly declared their support for the 8-hour working system using their real names and expressed opposition to the 12-hour working system. One worker emphasized, working 2 shifts, each lasting 12 hours, seriously impacts our health. We are human beings, not machines. We need 8 hours of work, 8 hours of rest, and 8 hours of sleep. This is especially crucial for welders, who have specialized professions. Some companies even enforce 2 12-hour shifts, which is simply inhumane. Yet another worker expressed doubts about the prevalence of the 12-hour working system. They explained that they had previously worked in both state-owned enterprises and private enterprises, and the 12-hour working system was common in private enterprises. The employment benefits in state-owned and private enterprises differ significantly, with state-owned enterprises offering much better conditions. The worker questioned whether only employees of state-owned enterprises in China can enjoy such treatment. After the relevant videos were posted on the overseas community platform X, formerly Twitter, numerous Chinese netizens shared their thoughts, expressing sentiments such as, "This is something Europeans were fighting for 150 years ago," questioning, "Is the labor law useless? Is this the only way we can protest?" While many people are pessimistic, thinking that such protests will be ineffective and swiftly quelled, some netizens maintain their optimism, declaring, "There's hope in rebellion." Another netizen described it as the rhythm of rebellion. Startling forced demolition in Beijing, Stephen Chow's voice actor confronted by dozens of men in late-night eviction. On September 18, Jinan Daily reported that Sherbanu, a voice actor known for his work with Stephen Chow, posted a video on a social media platform. In the video, he revealed that his studio located in Gaobedian Township, Chaoyang District, Beijing, was forcibly evacuated, sparking widespread attention on the internet. In the video, Sherbanu said that late one night, a group of over 10 to 20 burly individuals showed up at his door, coercing both him and his colleagues to leave immediately, without any explanation. They even dismantled their equipment and belongings. Sherbanu shared that he had been using this studio for almost a decade, originally signing a 40-year lease agreement and paying rent for the entire 40-year term up front. However, after the forced eviction, they were only willing to refund the rent for the first 10 years, withholding the remaining 20 years' worth. Additionally, they refused to reimburse the initial expenses for decorations, moving, and other related costs. Towards the end of the video, Sherbanu, with a head full of white hair, made a poignant plea, "Ladies and gentlemen, take a look at my hair. I'm 65 years old this year, and it's quite a pitiful situation." He expressed his feelings of helplessness and appealed to viewers for suggestions on how to handle the situation. He also asked for consideration of the more than 200 neighboring households facing a similar predicament. Another tenant residing in the same area also shared a similar story of forced eviction. In the past few nights, all residents have experienced being aggressively knocked on their doors and had their water and electricity cut off. A representative from the involved property developer, IGA Investment Holding Group Company, Limited, explained to reporters that the incident was triggered by their failure to negotiate compensation with the authorized enterprise of Gaobedian Township. According to personnel from the Gaobedian Village Committee, the office building where Sherbanu's studio is located, known as Xi Jinping Palace, was an illegal structure and was currently undergoing clearance and evacuation. This incident has ignited discussions among netizens. Some commented, "They're demolishing doors right at the heart of the imperial city, quite interesting," and questioned, "Who escaped the socialist iron fist?" Others suggested that these tenants might have been deceived because the laws of the CCP stipulate that housing leases are valid for a maximum of 20 years, rendering 40-year contracts invalid. Another netizen also expressed their opinions that these incidents aim to clean up low-end industries. Some individuals shared insights, stating, "Beijing is clearing out a group of companies. I've seen civilian reports before, and there was also a case of forcibly vacating a park. In fact, the park landlords weren't pleased either." Meanwhile, according to Sina News, nearly 200 companies in Shijiazhuang, Hebei, recently also faced a crisis of being dismantled. On September 14, the largest automotive park in Shijiazhuang, Hebei International Automobile Trade Park, was forcibly demolished. Showrooms for Guangzhou Automobile Group, GAC, BYD, Nissan's Kitchen, which were visible just a week before, were instantly leveled to the ground. This administrative relocation, carried out under the pretext of rectifying unapproved construction in low-end markets, has affected 177 large-scale 4S dealerships, encompassing nearly all of Shijiazhuang's 4S dealerships, not to mention various types of other showrooms. A 4S dealership, also known as a 4S store, is an automobile dealership that typically provides 4 key services, each beginning with the letter S, including sales, service, spare parts, and survey. Automotive Business Review reported that even some fully licensed 4S dealerships, which were previously government-promoted investment projects, were also ordered to relocate with a one-size-fits-all approach. This relocation involves nearly 20,000 directly employed people, nearly 50,000 indirectly employed individuals, and over 1 million customers for maintenance services. If forced to relocate, anonymous insiders familiar with the situation claimed that the direct losses would exceed 2 billion yuan, approximately $274 million. This has left automotive dealers who have not yet recovered from the pandemic in a situation of bankruptcy and closure. Many shareholders mortgaged their properties and took loans from banks to maintain their current operations, and there's no way they can start over. The rental costs in the new 4 parks are 2 to 5 times higher than the current ones, and a slightly larger new store costs tens of millions of yuan, with a renovation period of 2 to 3 months. In the context of economic recession, this only creates a wave of despair for car dealers. The Dongfeng Honda 4S dealership in the Kangcheng Automotive Park on the West 3rd Ring Road, registered on May 19 and only recently started normal operations in mid-August, had an overall investment of nearly 20 million yuan. This new store, spanning over 6,000 square meters, underwent a 3-month renovation, with the business structure still being built. Currently, it has more than 40 employees. The dealership manager lamented, "We can only go bankrupt." Financial crisis hits multiple regions in China, public transit companies suspended successively. After 3 years of the pandemic, many public transportation companies across China are facing wage arrears and struggling to maintain operations, highlighting a severe economic downturn in China and local financial crises. On September 18, both Hengshan County and Shuangfeng County in Hunan Province issued notices on the same day, announcing the forced suspension of public bus services, which has attracted attention. The notices stated that, starting from 2020, both the central and provincial governments drastically cut subsidies for urban public transportation operations and directed that relief subsidies for public transportation fall under local jurisdiction. With the COVID-19 pandemic persisting for 3 years and various factors contributing to a bleak financial outlook for public transportation, the company had operated by borrowing heavily and accumulating debts over the past 4 years, making its sustainability increasingly challenging. Consequently, they announced that all city buses would cease operations starting from September 20. Prior to July, similar incidents of bus service suspensions occurred in Baoding, Hebei Province. In detail, on August 16, bus drivers in Taiwan, Shandong Province, collectively went on strike to demand payment of their 5-month overdue salaries, and news of this strike spread online. In a video from December 26, 2022, bus drivers in Puyang, Hunan, staged a collective strike to protest 16 months of unpaid wages. The drivers displayed banners on the buses reading "Return our hard-earned money." On November 1, 2021, bus drivers in Pingdingshan, Hunan, went on strike because they had not received wages for 8 months. In a widely circulated video, numerous drivers gathered to confront company leaders heatedly. Turbulent political landscape in Zhongnanhai, analysis identifies 3 big threats for Xi Jinping. As we've continuously reported in recent days, high-ranking officials within the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, have been vanishing one by one recently. This is connected to the purge initiated by Chinese leader Xi Jinping aimed at the Rocket Force, regarded as one of his elite military units. There's information suggesting that Minister of National Defense Li Shangfu has been detained on corruption and has disclosed a series of names within the military establishment. This shocking revelation has created chaos within the CCP's military. Facing such a tumultuous political landscape, political analysts like Yuan Bin have pointed out 3 major threats to Xi Jinping's power as of September 18. Firstly, there is the recurrent threat of internal power struggles within the CCP. Throughout its history, the CCP has been marked by infighting and factional struggles, often fierce and even deadly, which can be seen as a recurring pattern in the evolution of CCP power. The second threat arises from the presence of double-faced officials among high-ranking party members. Xi Jinping's foremost criteria for appointing officials is their absolute loyalty to him. Many officials who vocally support Xi Jinping do so primarily to advance their careers and wealth, and examples like Qin Gang and Li Shangfu serve as instances of this phenomenon. There are likely more individuals similar to Qin and Li who have yet to be exposed. The third threat stems from internal factional conflicts within Xi's own faction, known as the Xi Jinping clique. The 6 members of the Politburo Standing Committee elected during the 20th Party Congress were all personally selected by Xi Jinping, and they are likely to form new intra-party factions that could potentially pose a threat to Xi's power and status. Veteran commentator Kai Shinkoan recently told the Epoch Times that since the 20th Party Congress last year, the Chinese political scene has been marked by turmoil, with no periods of tranquility. Furthermore, Xi Jinping does not have individuals he fully trusts around him, except for Kai Chi. This lack of a trusted inner circle adds to the uncertainties surrounding his rule. The senior leadership of the Chinese Communist Party's Rocket Force has been replaced by Xi Jinping, with reports of multiple individuals being detained. Professor Yuan Hongbing, a liberal legal scholar living in Australia, stated on September 14 that he had received information from conscientious individuals within the CCP system. According to this information, Xi Jinping had discovered that the entire leadership structure of the rocket force was composed of double-faced individuals. Yuan Hongbing further explained that the entire mechanism of the CCP is currently malfunctioning, and tens of millions of CCP officials generally have a doomsday mentality. They have adopted a lie-flat approach, meaning they are passive and not taking action. CCP deploys 100 military aircraft to disrupt Taiwan. Analysis: the action reflects instability on the part of Xi Jinping. Amidst the recent turmoil within the leadership of the Chinese government due to the purge of high-ranking military officials, on September 18, the CCP made a surprising move by deploying hundreds of fighter aircraft to provoke Taiwan. This action has taken observers by surprise. In detail, the Taiwan Ministry of National Defense reported that between September 18 and 19, they recorded an unprecedented 158 instances of Chinese military aircraft disturbing Taiwan's airspace. Among these, 67 aircraft crossed the median line of the Taiwan Strait and extended into Taiwan's southwest and southeast airspace. Concurrently, there were 16 Chinese vessels operating in the waters around the Taiwan Strait. The Taiwan Ministry of National Defense strongly condemned these provocative actions by the CCP, and called upon Beijing authorities to immediately cease unilateral actions disrupting the established status quo. At a time when the Chinese government is undergoing a significant military purge, with several senior officers under investigation, the sudden large-scale military incursions into Taiwan have raised concerns. Veteran media personality Tang Hao, while analyzing the situation on the Crossroads program, stated that the CCP's massive aircraft intrusions are essentially a form of blow the whistle and walk the night road. This phrase in Chinese implies that someone is taking certain actions to divert attention or cover up underlying conflicts. In this context, it involves using military aircraft and vessels to bolster its own confidence while concealing internal conflicts and tensions between the CCP leadership and the military. This is meant to mask the high level of distrust between Xi Jinping and the military, as well as the significant instability within the Xi regime. He added that the CCP's increased military threats toward Taiwan are primarily a cover-up for the cold civil war that has erupted within the party. This political struggle is taking place behind the scenes and could potentially escalate into a hot civil war involving coups, mutinies, or even assassinations. It poses the most significant and lethal unpredictable threat to the current CCP regime, ready to explode at any moment. At the same time, Taiwan's general election is in full swing. Tang Hao believed that the CCP sent large-scale military planes and warships to intimidate Taiwan at this time, in order to create psychological pressure on the Taiwan election and intervene in it. At the same time, the CCP also wants to play the Taiwan card as a bargaining chip in negotiations with the United States, hoping that the United States will make concessions to the CCP in areas such as technological blockade and trade tariffs. Other experts have analyzed that Xi Jinping employs two strategies in dealing with Taiwan, using both aggressive military actions and strong rhetoric. However, due to internal instability within the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping's bargaining power is diminishing in the context of the competition between China and the United States and in cross-strait relations. According to Professor Yao Yuan, a faculty member at the University of St. Thomas, the United States is considering this very deeply. Because it's a competitive relationship, when you threaten the security of the Taiwan Strait, the United States will respond firmly rather than cooperate with you. So he thinks this is a mistake in the CCP's foreign policy. During the recent major purge in the CCP, the commander and political commissar of the rocket force were all replaced, and the Chinese defense minister, Li Shangfu, came under investigation. Wei Fenghe, the former defense minister, and Zhang Youxia, the vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, have disappeared from the public eye. Zhang Youxia was absent from a political education meeting in the military, showing Xi Jinping's lack of trust in the military and internal military unrest. Experts analyze that there are turbulent undercurrents within the entire CCP state system, and the actual internal power struggles and pressures may be more severe than what we see. Dr. Qianyuan Zheng, a law PhD from National Taiwan University, believes that Xi Jinping should be aware that within the party-state apparatus he currently leads, there is, in fact, a significant crisis. This means that not only have corruption problems not been thoroughly resolved among these officials, but there may also be issues with their loyalty to Xi's core. Don't forget to leave a comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths.